Okay, so I was watching YouTube, something I enjoy doing, maybe you enjoy doing as well, and I came across a hair video in which the person was talking about their hair finally being longer than it's ever been before, them finally reaching lengths they've never reached before. But what stuck out to me was that the person was doing some things that overall gave the regimen an early 2000s feel. However, they did some things that are very much not early 2000s, okay? And then I also saw some things that in their regimen, I can see similar concepts in my regimen at play. And so I kind of related to them because I had the hardest time getting my hair at first past armpit length, and then also trying to get it past mid-back length when I started my natural hair journey. So I kind of want to talk about the basic principles of length retention that I feel like were present as I was watching this particular video. Hello everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel. Alright, so first of all, I did say that the person had an early 2000s type regimen, so that's like moisturized, seal, protective style, that kind of stuff. But let me tell you what was different between their regimen and what was actually being done back then. This person had an emphasis on shampooing the hair weekly. We didn't really care that much about shampooing hair weekly back then. We didn't realize how big of a deal that actually is. And then also this person, they use a tool to detangle their hair, which, I mean, we definitely was not doing that back then, or like very few people were doing, or we were using a wide tooth comb. And then another thing that they did is that they specifically it was an emphasis on picking a protective style specifically because they knew that they could take it down weekly. Again, it goes into the weekly washing. They are picking a style that they know they can take down weekly so they can do their wash routine. So this person is very much into, like, you've got to wash your hair frequently and it makes the hair more manageable. And so the way that I can do this is to pick a protective style that allows me to do that. And I think, I'm not saying that that's not early 2000s, but I do think we got carried away and we started to do these protective styles that were like a weave or braids. These are things that you're not going to take down regularly, you know what I mean? Because you're going to waste your money if you do. So just, it was refreshing to see. She's like, yeah, I'm putting my hair in a bun because I can take it down. Hello. Love to see that. All right. So anyway, despite there's obviously differences between her routine and mine, I did definitely see some common threads here. So first of all, first thing that I want to talk about is regular and frequent shampooing. Sis was like, listen, very, very important to regularly shampoo your hair. First of all, your scalp is healthier when you regularly shampoo your hair. There are a lot of scalp issues that are caused by people not regularly washing their hair. If you're noticing big, nasty flakes on your scalp, that's typically because you may have, let me get their name right. I think it's malassezia or something like that. And it's like they like to eat on excessive oil on the scalp. And so it makes these big flake things that are in the hair. And so, like, a lot of people think that that's caused by dryness of scalp. It's actually caused by the direct opposite, and you can mitigate that by washing your hair more frequently. And then your hair is more, like, actual hair is more receptive to products, more receptive to water and things like that. And then, of course, your hair is less susceptible to breakage because you are regularly watering your hair and regularly, like, reapplying the products and resetting it and stuff like that. So regular and frequent shampooing was the first one that she was really, that I noticed in her video. I wish I could remember the video, y'all. That would be really helpful, but I don't. I'm so sorry. I wrote this video idea a long time ago. Okay, next thing I noticed is that she was like really emphasis on the conditioning after the wash. Listen, I actually know people who do not use conditioner after they wash their hair. I'm just saying. Conditioner is really important because it lays the cuticles back down on your hair. It smooths the hair back down after you've washed it, because washing lifts the cuticle up. Washing is like a serious thing that you just done to your hair, so you want to condition and lay it back down. So definitely very important to do that. Now this, I wouldn't say necessarily a length retention type thing, but this person was emphasizing using a tool to detangle. And she was talking about how using a tool to detangle is more efficient, decreases the time that you are detangling your hair, you remove the shed hair effectively. So ultimately it is in some sort of a way kind of more gentle on the hair, which is a very interesting take on it, because a lot of people see it that way. And I think she also says you're more likely to detangle your hair more frequently if it's easier to do when you do it. So you're keeping up with that regular maintenance. I did see another video. I think this video may be by the same girl, and I think I shared it on my Threads account. Ooh. But she was showing her detangling technique, and it is almost exactly the same way that I detangle my hair. And I detangle my hair pretty quickly, and I think the proof is in the fact that there's really not a lot of hair in the brush. So there's hair when I'm shampooing coming out of my hands and stuff like that. There's hair when I'm like, separating and smoothing, but the hair that's in the brush is really not a lot of hair in the brush. So I know the brush is not taking my hair out. So I love to see that too, because like I said, early 2000s, we were not into the brush detangling like that. Okay, so number 4, I'm gonna take this from Akia. Cleanse, condition, coat is something that Akia says, like you regularly do this routine. And I definitely was seeing this with this girl's routine. Is her coat was that she was coating her hair. I think she was applying a moisturizer. And then, let's see in my notes, did she? Yeah, she was just applying a moisturizer, I think. She didn't do moisturize and seal. So she was just doing a moisturizer, which again is something that sticks out, is different from the early 2000s. So she was applying a moisturizer to the hair to coat it, to make sure that it had something on it. How I coat my hair depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm doing jumbo twists, then I'm just putting curl cream. Y'all can get sick of me talking about curl cream on this channel. Am I the only natural that really talks about curl cream like this? I don't know. I just feel like it's more substantial than leave-in, and I often use it when I'm not putting gel over my hair. So I like something a little bit more substantial on my hair because I'm not putting hair gel over it. Okay, anyways. So, but always, I don't dry my hair with no product and then just leave it like that and don't put anything. You definitely want to coat your hair, possibly lubricate it with some sort of product. And so, cleanse, condition, and coat. Thank you, Akia, because that ish works. So then also another thing I noticed with this person is obviously the low manipulation. They are doing a bun style, I think was what they do. I've also seen some other people who do twist, and then they will style the twist in different ways, whether that be jumbo twist or mini twist. Mini twists are really, really they are sweeping the internet. People are coming back around. I believe a resource for that, if you're into the mini twist, there was something called, I think it was called the mini braid method, and she has a whole blog and everything. I think she has a YouTube channel as well, since we can no longer go to growafrohair.com anymore. Grow Afro Hair Long? Grow Afro Hair? Which was with the extension hair, with the, what was that method called? I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, but Akia recently did a video on it. But you can't go to that website anymore, but I do believe the mini braid method stuff is still up. But anyways, yeah, she's doing something low manipulation, and I totally relate to that as well, because even though I'm doing a wash and go and people are like, oh my god, so much manipulation with the wash and go, I literally do my hair once a week, and then in the morning I just take off the scarf or the bonnet or whatever it is, and I just do a little bit of this. I might do a little of this or something, but that's it. I'm not doing anything to my hair on a regular basis. It is very low manipulation. We do the hair one day out of 7 days out of the week, and then we leave it the heck alone. And so, I really, really liked that I saw these underlying principles still at play in someone who has a different regimen from me. And I also was really vibing with the fact that she had the plateau thing. I mentioned to you guys that at the beginning of this video that I had some plateaus. The bra strap link situation was more of me when I had relaxed hair. I just wanted bra strap link hair so bad, and I just couldn't get there. But I think the main thing with me has been this constant battle for waist length, right? I would get to mid-back, cool. I can do that with almost no specialized hair care, with me total BSing. But then when I would try to get to waist, my hair would get to waist, but it would be really, really just damaged and tattered, or then my whole head from root to tip would not be as healthy. And I think I've chopped my hair back from a raggedy waist length twice. 2 times that I did it, and then finally I managed to get my hair pretty thick and at waist length. I keep saying my hair is waist length now, even though I am getting some hairs that do extend past waist length. However, I'm not really happy with the thickness of those hairs, so I probably will trim or cut my hair back to a more solid waist length eventually, just because I'm not happy with, so this is hair that is past waist length. This hair is longer than waist length. Also, I'm using the Emma Naturals. You guys will have seen the video at this point. The Emma Natural stretches my hair out of how it was cut. It definitely, my hair is never this extended typically. and it extends it out. So this is probably exaggerating it, but whatever, we'll use the exaggeration to my advantage. But I'm being open with you guys that I'm exaggerating, because my hair usually looks a little bit more in shape when it's more of like a, not fluffy, but like less laid like this, right? But you know, it is starting to get a little like, if I was getting a curly cut today, and I was the hairstylist for myself, weird, I would probably cut this much off. Okay, probably cut this. It's a lot of hair, right? So I am just now getting that. But finally, you know, to bring it back to this, I finally did get to that, you know, waist length, and it's thick and full of waist length finally, you know what I mean? And these principles that I covered in this video were definitely instrumental in helping me to actually finally, finally get there. I'm gonna go ahead and let YouTube recommend some videos over here, since I don't really have anything that's too super related to this video. Enjoy, subscribe. I post videos every week, and I will talk to you in the next one.